You know, with about 20 days to the 2023 general election, the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, have declared that there would be no sit-at-home directive during the coming election. IPOB warned the pan-Nigeria president of the Igbo Extraction Coalition, PAN-PIEC, against linking the group with enforcement of the sit-at-home order. The group, in a statement released through its spokesman, Ima Powerful, said, IPOB has no intention to enforce sit-at-home during the election and is focused on the release of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu. The group has also publicly denounced any link with Biafran agitator Simon Ekpa and his collaborators. Jide, who do we believe now? Or what do we believe?
The truth is, IPOB instituted this idea of civil disobedience in the shape of sit-at-home. But every discernible Easterner knows that this thing has done more harm than good, even to IPOB's cause. And I remember Mbazulika Amechi, the late Mbazulika Amechi, saying, where Nnamdi Kanu is, he cannot be happy seeing his people, the people that he is fighting for, suffering as a result of this sit-at-home, watching people kill his people in the name of enforcing the sit-at-home. But we have to tell ourselves the truth. IPOB has come out repeatedly to say, look, sit-at-home is no longer for every Monday. It is now for only days when Nnamdi Kanu is brought to court.
Yeah.
But what do we see? Cultists, brigands, and other
enemies of the state.
Shades of, other strains of criminals are now enforcing sit-at-home on days that IPOB has already come out to say, no, we don't want this thing enforced. So it's like you started something, and then before your very eyes, it's hijacked by people who did not start it with you. It's like you start a political association. Some people joined along the way because of your journey. Some people joined and then began to go against what you stood for. Because this is similar to people going against what you stood for. If you said, look, we cannot no more sit at home on Mondays, but these boys, it is still that Monday that they want to enforce it, and anybody who dares to come out on those days is putting his life at risk. We've seen people killed for that cause. Now, remember why I think that even in saying this, IPOB should be taken seriously. Before the governorship election in Anambra, IPOB, they reached out to IPOB. Igbo leaders reached out to IPOB that, look, don't stop people from coming out to vote. And we saw that a few days to the election. Ima Powerful came out to say, look, people can go out. Before then, there were cases of violence, people being attacked on their way to campaign grounds and all that. I remember even in the governor's local government, people were killed. You know, party members who were going for a rally were killed. Now, if IPOB could allow the election to hold at that time, I want to believe that the promise that it has made in this case, it is prepared to honor his word. They are saying our concern is not the election, our concern is Nnamdi Kanu's release and all that. But you know that in the past, IPOB have said, no, there will be no election unless there is a referendum. And I've always said there is no space for referendum in the Nigerian Constitution.
Yeah.
It's not mentioned there. So if anybody wants referendum, that is outside our Constitution, and that's problematic because it won't happen. Now, if IPOB say, okay, that we do not want to get in the way of the 2023 elections, it is because they know that it will hurt the Southeast, especially with Obi doing well as a national candidate. I'm not saying he's going to win, because people have a way of putting words into
or lose.
I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm not saying he's going to lose. I'm saying that Obi's place as a national candidate cannot be discounted.
Yeah.
No one can discount that. So if IPOB were to say, oh, don't vote, you are hurting the chances of this Tana, who is intent on winning this election. You remember when Atiku came out to say that he was in talks with Kwankwaso and Obi, the Obi group came out to say, no, you are not in talks with us. This is a lie. Kwankwaso too denied it. And Peter Obi said something. He said, look, there's nothing like me stepping down for Atiku because I'm the front runner in this election. That's the way somebody who thinks he can win an election should talk.
Yeah.
And you know, Delegiwa said in one of his write-ups that the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So he thinks that he can win the election. Now, IPOB will be going against the interests of Easterners to be seen as stopping people from voting, to be seen as stopping people from coming out to vote. So it's taking a good position now. And I also want to link this to what happened, I think, early last week, when a group of Igbo groups, including hunters and the rest of them, served a last warning to this unknown gunmen. Say, look, we are going to confront you. You are killing our people. It has to stop. So I am happy with this message from IPOB, and I think IPOB should be encouraged, you know, along the line to honor its word. Yeah. While our own security agencies should also do their best to ensure that these unknown gunmen killing our people in the East, killing innocent people, beheading politicians, and instigating fear in the minds of our people.
That's it.
They've got to be resisted.
Jide, it's only proper now to ask Chris here, a proud son of Imo, to let's sound you out. Chris, how scandalized are you about IPOB and the goings-on in Southeast Nigeria?
Well, citizen, basically the question to ask is, what is there for IPOB and what is IPOB standing for? What is Nnamdi Kanu standing for? What are they fighting for? You can only hint that on one single word, marginalization. An average person from the Southeast believes that he's been seen as an outsider in Nigeria. That is one. They believe that even after the Civil War, with the 3 R's,
they are not properly reconciled.
That they have not been properly reconciled. And you cannot, you can't look any further. When you look at, I'm not looking back now, I'm looking at the current dispensation, where they think that they have been marginalized in certain fronts. And they've come out to say categorically, let us even look at the security architecture. The last of the security architecture, both the military and paramilitary, was just constituted a week or 2 weeks ago. And that was the appointment of the Federal Road Safety Commissioner. That seals both the military and paramilitary. About 25 of it, Nigeria, they don't single Igbo man. So if you now justify that on what is happening, you will see that do they have a genuine reason to agitate? Yes, they are. Because it is part of the reason why they went to war. Because they felt that this is a country that's supposed to be This country used to be on what we used to call 3 tripods.
Well, stood on a 4-legged stool.
Well, I know, Citizen Joe, I know you said that, the fourth, no problem. But the fact remains that, do they have any genuine reason to agitate?
Yeah.
They do. And that is where people like us, who are to some extent intellectually sound, to be able to believe. But the issue is, how do you go about the agitation? That is why we differ. Everybody has his own style. Some people want to go the guerrilla style. Some people prefer to go the intellectual. I, for one, and so many other young people like me, want to go the intellectual way. But that does not, we are fighting for the same goal. That is true. But the problem is that we cannot be fighting for our rights and also fighting ourselves.
Hurting ourselves at the same time.
Fighting ourselves. And that is where I differ with some of the issues that IPOB and some of those that believe that they're in IPOB are doing. Now, let's take a classical example.
The sit at home has become like gospel in the Southeast.
It is a gospel, and that's where I'm going to. Now, I will tell you that nobody in the Southeast like what is going on the issue of sitting at home. Jide and I were in Owerri. Jide, right? Some months back, we were in Owerri. We went for this thing. The military, yes, for this thing.
Army Day.
Army Day. And we saw what happened. On a Monday, practically, except for Owerri, where you see some resemblance of life on a Monday, every other part of the state went on this thing. And that is affecting the economic life.
Presence,
and because of that is affecting the economic life of the same people that we are trying to fight for.
Of course, of course.
Now businesses are moving away from the southeast to the south-south. People are moving to Port Harcourt. People are moving to Asaba.
Yes.
Are moving to Asaba. People are moving to River State and the rest of them. Because on a Monday, students don't even go to school on Mondays again. Now they are pushing university schools resuming from Tuesday to at time to Saturday.
Even banks.
And banks and the rest of them. So that is where the problem is. And which is why I am happy that IPOB had come out to say that we will be part of it. People should go about their duties and participate in the election. Yes. But I will tell you that IPOB have lost control.
That's the thing.
They have lost control.
They lost control
of the security situation in the Southeast. Because miscreants have taken advantage of the situation. Courts have taken advantage. Politicians have also taken advantage. There have been so many instances where you see politicians killing their fellow politicians and blaming it on IPOB and unknown government. What you hear now is unknown government. A situation where you have any problem, if you have any problem with anybody, you just get some boys to go and eliminate. The next thing you say is unknown government. Who is unknown government? And that is where government come into play. Are you telling me that these boys doing these things, those DSS, those are
not bigger than the state?
Are they bigger than the state? Are they bigger than the Nigerian army, the police, the DSS, the civil defense, and the rest of them? That is the issue. But IPOB also can do more. If he says it's not part of the problem, IPOB said he's setting up an Eastern ESN, Eastern Security Network. What is the work of the security? I want to see the ESN as a Motekun in the South.
They crush ESN.
But the ESN
is what the governor set up.
No, I'm talking of.
The ESN is official.
That is what I'm saying. I'm talking of IPOB. The Southeast governors and set up a Bubagu. And you realize that there was something, Jide, there was something that used to happen in Anambra State in those days. I don't know whether you still remember
Bakassi boys.
When
in the time
citizens
of
you remember the problem we had, especially in Onitsha and Anambra State, that you cannot, even on a day, in the afternoon like this, you cannot cross that overhead bridge without being murdered or killed. And they come up with something. You might say that it was raw, it was distant, but it served the purpose because criminality practically died in that area. What am I saying in essence? In as much as we're abusing or saying that
even with those robbers, they were killing them.
That is it.
Derrico Wanman.
Yeah.
Remember
of course. Derrico Wanman.
Oof.
We can do more. I also believe that the government should look at issue of Nnamdi Kanu. There must be, even Israelis, as much as they hate Palestinians, they still negotiate with them. I've seen instances where a soldier was exchanged for about, was it 500?
Yeah.
You remember vividly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the period.
One Israeli soldier
Yes.
exchanged for 500
Even remains,
detainees.
remains of
Remains of
soldiers.
soldier.
They will exchange remains for
Jide,
people in prison.
let me even bust your bubble. Citizen Zone, 2 days ago, or yes, 2 days ago, despite the war going on between Russia and Ukraine, do you know that they had an exchange of prisoners?
No, they've been doing
soldiers.
that. They've been doing that.
Over 115 were exchanged.
They've been doing that.
This is a country, these are two countries at war. Talk less of a situation where you have. So,
The question that will be asked is, even if Kanu is released, will it bring an end to the criminality going on?
Yeah.
it will go a long way. Jide, as an Igbo man, I will tell you it will go a long way. You know why? Nnamdi Kanu, whether you like it or not, is believed more, respected more than all the 5 state governors in Southeast. I'm telling you this for a fact. And I'm saying it on live television. Whoever wants to contribute can. Most people in my village in Umungobo, let me tell you.
Is it in the map?
It's more than the map.
Okay.
Let me finish with it. You have seen instances where, then even before the issue of this, where IPOB will say, don't go out on Monday. Governors will come out and say, go out.
People won't listen.
People will listen to them. People would rather listen to IPOB or listen to Nnamdi Kanu. We just make a broadcast. The biggest market in the south is some of the biggest markets like Aba, Ariara, and the one in Osha. We closed down. That is not anybody asking you to come and pay. So that shows the kind of thing. So I believe, and like some of the leaders of the Southeast have been saying, let the president and the government look at the issues as it were. Let us solve this problem
all
once
right.
and for all.
Our business on Journalist Hangout is to help mold opinion for the viewer, essentially from the facts available to us. Well, IPOB, you have made your point. Government, too, has made its point. There must be a meeting point.
Yes.
Yeah, there must be a middle ground somewhere.
There must be
because
convergence.
it cannot continue. It cannot continue. All right, we'll apply the brakes here, but not before thanking Baba Jide Kolade Otitoju. But Jide, your chieftaincy title in this, do you know the name?
Why would I not know the name?
No, tell me now. Maybe you go talk am well.
Okulora now. Okulora. That is spokesman for the people.
Okay. Is he right?
Have you?
Completely right.
All right. Okay.